bankruptcy and consumer proposals in the landlord and tenant relationship. Let's dive into the wild world of landlords, tenants, and the occasional bankruptcy drama. Today, we'll explore what happens when your tenant decides to file for bankruptcy while still living cozy in your rental unit or after they've already moved out. Spoiler alert, it's not a landlord's favorite plot twist. So, your tenant files for bankruptcy or makes a consumer proposal. Ouch! This could really throw a wrench into your plans. Think of it like this. You're sailing smoothly, collecting rent, and suddenly your tenant declares bankruptcy. It's like hitting an iceberg. We've got some survival tips for you. First, let's talk about the dreaded automatic stay of proceedings. Sounds fancy, right? It's just a legal way of saying stop everything. When a tenant files for bankruptcy, it's like they've hit the big red pause button on the eviction orders from the Landlord and Tenant Board, even if it's for rent arrears. According to Section 84(2), Part 1 of the Bankruptcy and Insolvencies Act, the BIA, you cannot terminate a contract just because of bankruptcy. And subsection 84(2) adds that you cannot terminate a lease due to unpaid rent before the bankruptcy occurred. Basically, the BIA tells the Provincial Residential Tenancies Act, or RTA, to take a back seat. Federal rules rule. Now, you might be wondering, can my tenant just keep chilling in my rental unit after filing for bankruptcy? And the answer is yes. The tenant can choose to stay, and you might end up in a strained relationship with your tenant. Think of it as an awkward family dinner that never ends. But hey, keep your cool. Remain calm and professional even when you feel like pulling out your hair. If your tenant decides to stay, they must pay a per diem for the rest of the month post-filing of the bankruptcy and keep up with their current rent after bankruptcy. So rents are paid only after filing? Yes. Straight to the current rent, no detours, no past debt. And, very likely, not much chance to collect on the past rent owed. Just like that, poof, the debt goes up in smoke. What about if they don't pay the current rent? Well, you can issue a new notice for non-payment of rent from the date of bankruptcy and start the eviction process all over again. It's like pressing the reset button in the middle of a game. It's very frustrating. And the big question, will you ever see those rent arrears again? It's like hoping for a surprise inheritance from a long-lost relative. Don't hold your breath. Recouping past rent is a big maybe. In Ontario, when a debtor files for bankruptcy, the bankruptcy trustee sends out a form called Proof of Claim to the creditors. This form allows creditors to formally declare the amount owed to them by the debtor. Along with the Proof of Claim form, the trustee also sends out a notice of bankruptcy and first meeting of creditors if a meeting is required. Here's a brief overview of the forms. Proof of Claim. This is the form used by creditors to submit their claim for the amount owed to them. It includes details about the debt, any security interests, and other relevant information. Notice of Bankruptcy and First Meeting of Creditors. This notice informs creditors about the bankruptcy filing and provides details about the first meeting of creditors where they can discuss the bankruptcy and the debtor's estate with the trustee. These forms are essential for the bankruptcy process as they help the trustee and the court determine the extent of the debtor's liabilities and how the debtor's assets will be distributed amongst the creditors. Once the trustee has collected all the information, obtained assets from the debtor, they will settle the debts on a percentage basis depending on the size of your debt and other factors. The long and the short of it, if you're lucky, you may get pennies on the dollar owed. And don't forget, many tenants have access to free legal services, while there are limited resources like that for landlords. Sometimes being a landlord can be a very thankless job. Like and subscribe for more great content.